Peace, peace. I want to welcome everybody to the Post-Maafa Reconstruction. I want to appreciate you for coming out. You could be anywhere right now, but you've decided to join us to help build this community, so you're definitely appreciated. Please like and share. Join us every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Arizona time. My name is Tahuti Forever. I am the architect of MelaNation. If you ladies would like to introduce yourself, please do so. Miss Tanene, if you would like to introduce yourself first.
Sure. Divine, divine evening. Emily. I am author Tanani Mason, known as an anthology visionary. I help and encourage people to tell their God given empowering stories to the world and become a co author in my anthology series. And also, I help people to become number one best selling authors. It's an honor and pleasure to be. It's an honor and pleasure to be a co host here in this palace. It is also an honor to have you, brother, here as a guest with us. I am also, um, this is new for me and my identical twin sister. So I am the co founder and senior vice, no, my apologies, senior executive vice president of two 501c3 organizations. Sit alongside my identical twin sister. She's the founder of them both. And that's it for me for now. Peace.
Peace, peace, ashe, ashe, ashe. Miss Nisha, if you can please introduce yourself.
Good evening, and thank you so much for having me here. My name is Miss Nisha, B, and I am the founder of Miss Nisha B LLC and the Boss Ecosystem. And what I do is help busy women over 40 who want to create another stream of income, get clarity, and also have a system that fits their real life. No more burnout culture. So that's what I do to support our community in building businesses and creating multiple streams of income and doing something that you love, and it fitting in your life, your current life, your busy life. Thank you.
Ashe, ashe. Sounds like you put in a lot of work. Miss Lizzie Woody, if you can please introduce
Hello,
yourself. Yes.
hello out there. This is Lizzie Woody. I am the PR person for MelaNation, and what I do around the city here is I share information to the community, trying to keep us informed as to what we're doing, where we're doing it, how we're doing it. And currently, I am on a mission to be a part of the build and the growth of MelaNation. And welcome to the show.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. So these are our reoccurring panelists, and we're here today to speak to the family. We want to explain the projects that we're working on and reach out to the community to see what other information we need, what's going on in the community. Speak with us. Go ahead and send us a message here on our live. We'll go ahead and throw your message on the screen, and we'll go ahead and we'll speak with you in reference to what's going on in the community. So now is the time we generally give a little exposure to our audience on what the MelaNation app actually is, different features on the app. So let me go ahead and bring this video forward.
The emergence of an inspired event is now on the move, requiring all hands on deck. So here's why you should share. We have substantially invested in a systematic approach to Black economics. Our mission is to empower and uplift our community, both online and in the physical world where birds fly. Interestingly, your monthly vote steers the direction of the company. Introducing MelaNation, a cutting-edge TV, and an internet platform. It's making its way to the world stage with over 400 pages of state-of-the-art features. Features include movie streaming, a production studio for influencers where your production will be displayed through the television, a dating site that can be accessed through the TV, a Google Maps powered satellite mapping system for registered Black owned businesses and entertainment, making it easier for you to locate the community near you, and much more. We're bringing everything the community needs under one roof in order to build the proper infrastructure across the nation. Learn more on the Facebook page, family. The time is now for your participation to shape the direction of this community-powered company.
Ashe, ashe, ashe.
Ashe.
That's the business, that's the concept, that's the vision that we're currently working on. We are in the beginning stages. We just bought the servers. We just started to build the actual infrastructure of the app. Only maybe 2.5 weeks ago is when we got the server. We do now have a website where you can go on. It's called MelaNation.co, melanation.co. So let's go ahead and get into it, family. You can find us here at YouTube on MelaNation app. You can find us on Facebook. Please join us on Facebook. It's very important. Our Facebook page is MelaNation app. If you find the desire to assist us in the movement, you can find our Cash App at $MelaNation app. So if anyone would like to speak to the audience about what is this live session about? That's the current question.
Well, I feel the live session is about, really connecting with the community, trying to really figure out, where we're going with this, how we're going to get there, and to reach out to the community to come and be a part of that build. And I consider it a build because we're not there yet, and we have a while to get there. So what we do build, we want it to be intact, in other words. That's just my assessment.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. We definitely want to have our ears open. That's basically what this session is about. We are building infrastructure, very important infrastructure for the community. We are focused on the community. So we need the community to let us know what's happening, what's going on, what are the needs, what are the opportunities, what are the struggles. So we're here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. so we can listen. That's the main reason why we're here. It's so that we can listen and we can integrate the things that we're being told. We're in the process of integrating and building and expanding. And even after the app launches, we're still going to be listening for ways to advance and new features and different needs of the community. We're looking to address these needs. So we're going to be here live even after the app launches, and we are willing to mold the app in the direction that it needs to go. It's not a stagnant one type of process. We are going to continue to grow and expand. So Nene, did you have anything you wanted to add to that? So the next question, because it's important to understand the terminology, to understand the mission. So the next question that we're posing here is, what does Maafa mean? If this show is called the Post-Maafa Reconstruction, what is Maafa? What are we actually saying? So that's the question that's posed right now. If anyone wanted to tackle that one for the audience.
Well, from what I can remember, that's the question of the day. It has to do with, after slavery, how do we build? How do we rebuild?
Okay.
That's
Right.
my assessment of it.
Yeah.
How to rebuild after slavery.
So The term Maafa is Swahili. It means the great disaster.
Okay.
So when we refer to the Maafa, our elders have cloned this phrase. It refers to anything dealing with chattel slavery, systematic racism, redlining, colonialism, um, Jim Crow laws, the tragedies that's been happening to American citizens based on the color of our skin. That is what we mean when we say Ma'afa. It's all of that built up. So the Jews have the Holocaust. The Holocaust was in one country for a period of time. The Ma'afa is worldwide, and it went over hundreds and hundreds of years. And the UN just recently acknowledged the Ma'afa as being the worst tragedy done to any human beings on the planet. So when we say Ma'afa, we want to acknowledge that we're attempting. Our goal is to overcome the tragedies that's been happening to us systematically. So we have to have an answer that's a systematic answer. So that's why we call it the post Ma'afa, because we're in transition. We now have tools at our disposal. We now have lots and lots of numbers. We have citizens that are melanated people who are able to come to our aid. There's so many advances that we have. We can't continue the same struggles. We've been on the same struggles for 150 years. We're struggling for our human rights, humanity, struggling for other rights, struggling to equal pay. All these struggles, we need to move past those struggles and create for ourselves. So we're beyond asking at this point. So that's what the word post means. We're beyond that point. We're building for ourselves.
Ashe.
Ashe, ashe.
Okay.
I love it. I love it because I feel like the asking is like being crumbs thrown at us. At this point, it is time to build and create our own. Um,
Absolutely.
and then it was what's crazy about it is being treated as the underdog, but not realizing that we are a mighty group of people with much knowledge, much resources. It's just about us all coming together and putting those resources together and not depending upon other people, but building each other up.
Ashe, ashe.
And there
Absolutely.
has to be a system for that as well. In order for us to reach one, we got to figure out how do we do that and how effective is that.
We definitely need to have the communications open. We have to have an audience. We have to be reachable. That is so true. Um, this question here, what does Ma'afa mean? That's really important. It's a really important question. That's why we pose the question, because we have to understand what happened to us so we can move forward.
Family, I'm,
Ma'afa,
I'm going to have to get my headset. I can't hear y'all. This straining my
no,
ears.
not a problem.
Okay, give me a
So,
second.
sure. What does Ma'afa mean? So Ma'afa means go back and fetch it. And when we say Ma'afa, we're referring to our ancestral knowledge and information. Don't lose yourself, right? Don't forget where you came from. We need to identify ourselves as family members and understand, hey, we are going through the same situations. We're not going to forget what has happened to us, and we're going to continue to build together. So the word Sankofa means go back and fetch it. And it really just
And
said, don't forget who you are. Don't forget where you come from. We all the same people, I and I. Why have we used the terminology melanation? Instead of just saying the black app or African American app, why are we using the term melanation for our unifying term? Does anyone want to try to tackle that one? So the reason we decided to use the terminology melanation is because the other names do not address a lot of the issues that we were having. The concept of black is disenfranchising. The concept of white came about in American slavery. They were trying to distinguish between who can be enslaved and who's going to be the enslaver, who's going to be the slave master. So originally, you had one group of Caucasians come in and they started to claim that they were white. Now, no one is the color white, but they were able to use that banner to include other nationalities like the Irish, and the Irish became white at one time. Originally, they weren't considered to be white, but when they needed the numbers to help control, the slaves, well, I'm not going to call our ancestors slaves. We're going to say the enslaved people. They allowed other nationalities to come in under the banner of white. So they became white and we became black, which means someone who's potentially able to be enslaved. The term melanation, everybody heard of the one drop rule. The one drop rule is one drop of what? Black. But black is not a scientific term. You can't pull up anything in your blood and see black. It's not such thing. The chemical that they were referring to is called melanin. So the whole entire concept of if we're going to be targeted as enslaved people or not was based on one chemical in your blood, one drop of it. If you have one drop of melanin. Now, here's the thing, that's not something that's only localized in America. They sent that to the Africans in the diaspora. All they were worried about and concerned about is, do you have one drop of melanin? They called it black, but there's no such thing. So the actual term and terminology is important, is melanin. Therefore, if we're going to be addressing systematic racism, we need to address them based on what they considered priority. And what that was melanin. So it doesn't matter what your ideologies are as far as religion. If you're melanated, that they're going to come for you. It doesn't matter what nation you were born in. If you're melanated, they're going to come for you. So the one thing that system and oppressors was looking at was melanin, nothing else. And it's weird that no one's really addressing that. Now we have the terminology, but we're still calling ourselves by different things. Black is disenfranchising. It doesn't give us any opportunities or any advancements. It doesn't. There's no such thing as the black country. So we want to use a word that gives us more empowerment and unifies us as a group.
Brother Israel, can you hear?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So what I'll do. Oh, go ahead, Miss Lizzie.
No, I was just thinking. Just had a question. You were saying like the Irish, I guess when they came stateside, they were considered white because of the color of their skin. Is that correct?
This is true. So there had to be a line drawn. They were trying to determine who can be enslaved because slavery happened prior to chattel slavery. There was different type of slavery prior to that. So they were laying down the foundation of who are they going to be targeting. So the Irish were not originally considered to be white, so they were potentially someone that could have been enslaved. But
that was my question. I apologize. That was what I was trying to clarify. Right. What were they considered before they were, kind of put in with the Europeans?
I say so.
And the Europeans was looking for numbers.
Exactly.
Right.
So they completely made up a new terminology. That's what white is. It's a new terminology specifically designed to uplift Europeans. That's what it is. It's to oppress black people and uplift Europeans. There is no such thing as white. If you look over the years, you can see there's court decisions that determined who was going to be white and who's not going to be white. No one knew. They considered Asians, they considered all different nationalities, and they actually had judgments. Said, okay, you know what? Now we're going to enlist them into the white banner, and they just did that to maintain power. So we,
Exactly.
right? So calling ourselves black is is part of that power structure that disenfranchises us, right? It gives us no advantage. Now I do, I mean I love there's a new song out that's out. Black, 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 black. Man, I rep that song. I love that song. But
Mhm.
I never heard that one.
we got to use more powerful terms.
Yeah, but it's the black is used for identification purposes only in these days. But like you said, reaching for more uh, powerful and stronger attributes. Melanation is where it's at. You
This
know,
is true. This is true. We need to have because we're in the beginning. We have a
and you think about it. You know, we were niggas, Negroes, colored, and black, and so it's just it's been a growth cycle. So it's been a growth. So it's all good. This is where we are now.
This is true. This is true. Let me go ahead and share the page. This is melanation.com. Every melanation starts with you. Mela Community is a powerful all-in-one platform designed to connect, empower, and elevate the global melanated community. From networking and business growth to connection to content, events, and opportunities, everything lives in one ecosystem. We're bringing the
That's
family together.
melanation. I apologize. That's melanation.co, isn't it?
You're correct. Melanation.co. Melanation.co. So, building for the community, powered by opportunity. Mela Community is not just another social app, it's a digital nation where culture, commerce, and collaboration come together, where you're a creator, entrepreneur, professional, or community leader. This is your home. We have over 400 pages of modern features, and one of the most important features is the Mela News, a post-Maafa Reconstruction instrument. Post-Maafa Reconstruction phase begins with the narrative sovereignty. sovereignty. After centuries of displacement, extraction, and distortion, our first responsibility is to reclaim the power and to define our realities for ourselves. Reconstruction cannot occur while our stories are being told by outsiders, filtered through hostile systems, or reduced to spectacle. A people disconnected from their own narrative cannot coordinate their future. It's very important that we hear from our community, and we are going to be open and available through Mela News. You can reach out to us, let us know what's going on in your community, and we're going to give you our updates on what's going on in the company so we can be transparent. All you have to do is log on to the app, and the very first thing you'll see is our communication through Mela News. I'm going to go ahead and so this page goes for a while. We have so many features to cover, but we want to give you the foundational basics. Like we do have the Mela Market. You can create your own content videos. There's courses for teachers and students to learn and grow. Um, Visit melanation.co for yourself.
I have a
Go for it. What's your question?
I have a question. I love the fact that there's so many there's so many businesses out there and apps and things out there that people have feedback and they never get heard. And the fact that this is an opportunity to give your feedback, is there a mechanism for that?
So yeah, they would just log on to the app itself, and it depends on what type of feedback they're looking for to give. If it's newsworthy feedback, then they would just reach out to the Mela News department. But if it's more social media, then there'll be other outlets for them to reach out on.
Now, are
Okay,
you talking currently or, once everything is in place?
that's going to be
Uh,
once
Now,
everything.
okay.
right.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, like, currently, like, while it's in the building stages, how are people able to give feedback and say, hey, this would be a great opportunity to add and would add to the melanation and also our the community growth, the economic growth, all of that. How could people give feedback or, just provide something and maybe you can connect with them to follow up or get more information?
Okay, okay, I understand. So, yes, we are. Our ears are open on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook channel. So, our community right now is really focused on Facebook Messenger. So, you can join our Facebook Messenger group under MelaNation app, and also join us and communicate with us on Facebook itself under MelaNation app. This is where most of our communication is currently going through. Also, if you go to the webpage, see if I can go back here, on the very bottom, we do have a resource where you can contact us here.
So let me, um, once they have to go to the Melanation app to join, to become a member, and you will have more access to Messenger. Is that correct or no?
Membership is not required. Membership is not currently required. And also, the app itself downloads free, and you can use the features for free. Membership is not required now, nor when the app releases, it's not a requirement. However, we do have a way that you can gain advanced features by subscribing once the app is available. But this page here, if you go to melanation.co and scroll to the bottom, you can leave a message for us, and that will reach us as well. So there's several different outlets where you can contact us. Um, my preferred method will be to ask the question within the community because other people need to see the questions as well. So if you have a question and you give us the question on our messenger chat, hundreds of people will be able to see that question and they might benefit from the answer. But if the question is, you can just go to melanation.co, scroll to the bottom, and you can contact us there.
And this will be launched national, correct?
This is going to start off national, and then we're going to advance globally uh, once we have a little bit of experience. We'll advance globally.
Right, right. I have friends in other states, and reaching out to them as well to, get involved.
Ashe.
And they can do that right now.
Right.
All right, so we are reaching the melanamic segment. So let me go ahead and locate our bio for our special guest speaker. Welcome, welcome, Ms. Jean-Pierre.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So we've reached the melanamic segment of the evening. So David Davison, affectionately known as in his community as Raw Israel Roots, is a dedicated community servant, culture advocate, and entrepreneur with a deep-rooted passion for uplifting his people. In 2008, during the economic downturn, David made life-changing decision to leave the air conditioning and heating industry to follow his heart. With limited financial resources and a strong vision, he embraced a skill passion um, passed down to him by Rastafarian brethren, the art of crafting incense. What began as humble beginnings sells incense outside of Safeway at 16th Street in Southern, out here in Phoenix. Ha! Because the foundation of something far, it became the foundation of something far greater. After 2 years of presidents in the community, David opened Roots Life Community in the Community LLC, a unique space that blended retail with community service. For 17 years, Root Life served as more than just a storefront. It became a cultural hub, and we all know that's the truth. It
Yep.
became a cultural hub dedicated to health, unity, empowerment. Having recently closed the physical location, David marks the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. His commitment remains unchanged as he continues his mission of community service, carrying forward the spirit and purpose of Root Life beyond the storefront. Mr. Israel Roots.
I say, thank you.
Ashe, Ashe.
Welcome, welcome.
Ashe, Ashe.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
So let me ask you, can you tell us a little bit about how your journey started?
Well, I like to start really, I feel like my story started like coming from out of the 6th grade, going into the 7th grade. And that's where I will start. Yeah. Because again, that's when I had to start making grown-up decisions as it is, being 13 and 14, 12 and 13, you're very much a child, but growing up in Compton, they grow you up really fast.
True.
So, a lot of the good times you would like to have as a child, are taken away from you. And I can remember leaving 6th grade, going to the 7th grade, because you had 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, correct?
Right. Back then.
And yeah. And so I was telling brother that my friends, probably like 8 or 9 of us at least, we were all happy to go to junior high school and ride our bikes, ride our Stingrays, just thought that was just the biggest and the coolest thing that we'd be able to do. And so that lasted only one day. So by the time we rode our bikes and locked them up at the little bike rack and wondering why the bike rack was empty, our friends and all the kids was like, you guys look like some little kids riding these bikes. And, we look at each other like, damn, we are some little kids. What are you talking about? And so, but really, we wasn't allowed to ride our bikes. It was like, okay. So the next day we were walking with the crowd. And so I'll say like a month into school, you start hearing a buzz around the school saying it's 7th grade day. And so I was like, what is 7th grade day? What is 7th grade day, right? So next thing you know, by the time we leave class, all of the 8th graders and 9th graders was kicking our butt left and right.
Yeah.
And this was like a jump in, and this 7th grade day lasted like close to 3 weeks.
Oh, I didn't know it lasted that long.
Yeah, it really did. So yeah, every day from the time we got to school, went to class, and in between classes, we was getting our ass kicked by the big kids. Okay. I'm just telling you how it was for me.
Right.
and and so whenever we went to the bathroom, went to the gym, had to go in between classes, they catch us, hem us up, and my friends and I, we decided, hey, we better stick close together, and so this is how gang mentality is if is how gang mentality evolved.
Right.
Okay, so um, now what was going on is that the ninth graders and the eighth graders was already acclimated into gang wars activities.
Right.
Okay, so leaving our school vanguard, junior high school, there's a long street that we would take all the way home. It's probably like 3 miles, called 135th Street. On 135th Street was another rival gang called the Fives. Okay, so our ninth graders and eighth graders, and sometimes the high school kids come over there because they had to scrap with the Fives. So right away, our ninth and eighth graders needed to know which who's strong enough to stand up against these guys when we leave this school, and just like so they were building numbers. We're building numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I used to say we never had no jump in until I really realized, ninth, seventh grade day was the jump in.
Right.
And so there was also a rival school that was Crips. I'm from Paru, blood Paru, and there was a school called Gompers, and their bus would pass right by down 135th Street. So one day on our way to school, I happened to look up at the bus because they pass by and they throwing the gang signs out of the window. And this particular day, and mind you, I'm in the seventh grade, so all of 13, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at a handgun pointed right at my head through the bus, and I'm like, whoa. Next thing you know, some of our big guys, they ran around the corner to catch that bus, and they shot up that bus that morning. This is on the way to school. This is how you started school, right?
Mm.
So at that point, I'm like, you know what? I said, "To hell with these books," and picked up my gun, and now I'm not even thinking about class and stuff anymore. It's like survival. It's all about survival.
Right.
You see, so it was just a really trying thing when you think of it, later on, that you denied this childhood, because we should have still been riding our bikes, having fun, going to school, and just enjoying life, but that was all taken away and then entered into adult life at an early age. That's why I said we entered into adult life so early, so along with that comes with all the other stuff that gangsters do. Okay.
Right.
So now you got a gun. So if you got a gun, you're gonna be ready to shoot. If you're gonna shoot, you're gonna be ready to rob, because you still need money. So already at 12 and 13, you're looking at a little boy, with a grown man mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, a 13-year-old with a sawed off is more dangerous than a 30-year-old with a
He
shotgun.
don't know how to shoot. He do not know.
Pardon?
I said somebody at that age, they do not know how to shoot. So they're going to
Oh
be.
no, we knew how to shoot very well. Knew how to shoot. It's just that you didn't have the mindset to know that how much trouble you will get into, and you're willing to take more chances and risks.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That a lot of it is like young people, the younger people they don't think about tomorrow. They don't think about the future. It's like I'm
You
just here
don't think
today. And
about
then a
the
lot of young people
consequences.
didn't even think they were gonna make it.
Right.
I met a lot of young people that said that they didn't think they was gonna make it to 30 or
Yeah.
20. They were like, what is that? Because they didn't
Well,
see people around them making it to that.
well,
Yeah.
when you're 12 years old and you have even your uh, teachers and grown people in your community telling you that you won't live to see 16, you won't live to see 18. And I'm like, damn, that's a hell of a thing to say, you know. But they were seeing something that I wasn't seeing. I'm like, totally fearless, you know. I'm like, ain't no way I'll be here, you know. But they were very much right, because I lost a lot of my friends, you know, at an early age. They never got to get gray hair, and you know, and all of this stuff, you know. At a very early age, in junior high school, that's when I started losing my friends through guns
Mhm.
and so forth. So you know, it's just a really terrible thing, and a lot of people you will hear today, they say, oh, they, you know, they're so stupid, they fighting over colors, but they don't really realize that you know, for our generation was raised into this whole thing, and this was your daily surroundings. So
Oh,
Mhm.
you, yes.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
So are you
So when
you're
did you
saying?
decide, like, what? So we say the 6th to 7th grade, that's when it was like, this is my world, this is my life. When did you decide, what was the turning point for you that made you decide, I'm putting this down and I got to make some changes in my life that's going to impact the community and have young people thinking something different than what I thought growing up?
Yeah,
Well,
that was going to be my question.
well,
Basically.
from junior high school, and then you go into high school, and then that's where it's really jumping off at, you know. So by then, you know, you're seasoned. You know, you ready. You got to be ready for high school, like on day one. As soon as you walk in there, this is a war zone. And they like, the Crips is over there. These Crips, those are Carver Park Crips. These are Mona Park Crips. That's the eight ball Crips, and so forth and so on, you know. And we're Paru, and we're over here. That's our half of the school, and that's their half of the school.
Oh wow.
Okay. So now it's gotten serious, more serious, because, you know, before it was mostly fist fighting, and then it started getting more gunplay and so forth like that. And as the years, by the time I was in the 12th grade, um, it was you know, I really was grown then. You know, I was more than grown, doing everything under the sun, right? But at the what happened with my turning point was that you know, I have lost so many friends and whatnot already, you know, and I knew that things were getting close for me,
Mhm.
and that I had already had a lot of enemies, and you know, people was really seeking to do me harm. One of my good friends um, was shot in the head at high school in the bathroom. The,
Wow.
and they told everybody. I was happened to be at home because I had already had a fight with some big dude, broke my jaw.
Oh wow.
Okay, so I'm in at home nursing my broken jaw, and then they shoot my best friend, you know, right through the ear
Mm.
in the bathroom, and they said that was my bullet, that was meant for me, but I wasn't there that day. Um, so you know, we was really at war for real. Um, so things had gotten so bad in the neighborhood, just, you know, from one thing to another, was just daily, day in and day out. It was something going on, and like I said, we was already losing lives. But my mom was like, "Hey, yo, enough is enough. Enough is enough, and we're gonna get you out of here." So one night, my mom would go to work at 11 at night, and so my brother, we'd be hanging out at night, but we already knew one of us needed to be there to let her out the garage and make sure she got out the house safely. And then we'll go back into the streets if that's what we wanted to do. So this one particular night, it was some shooting going on down the street, and it was just crazy. And I was rushing home from the other side of town. I went riding my bike across to go to the next neighborhood to see some of my buddies, and it probably was like 10:30, and the supermarket was closing. The parking lot was all empty, and I heard some gunshots was banking off the wall. So somebody was shooting at me, but I couldn't tell where it was coming from. I had a gun, but I couldn't tell where they were shooting from. And I'm like, man, I started thinking about my mom, and I'm like, I better get home. Let me go check on mama. So I'm riding my bike, and whatever happened, I was just going as fast as I could. By the time I got back to our neighborhood, one of our big OGs was whistled, and I turned around, say, "What's up? Have they been shooting around here?" He said, "No, not yet." And then as soon as he said that, it was like bam, 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 bam. And it was right where I would have been. I mean, it was just so much. It was like a movie, like those old movies where it's just like the pages just flying through, right? But nevertheless, I'm like, I made it home, check on my mama. I run in the house, and she's still in bed. And I'm standing over her, full of sweat, breathing hard like a like a crazy person. And she wake up, look at me like, you know what? You gotta go. You gotta go. So she got on the phone and started calling, trying to find somewhere for me to go. She called one of my aunties in Texas, and they didn't want nothing to do with me. She called my sister-in-law that was here in Arizona, and my sister-in-law Sylvia, my heart, she said, send them on. So that next morning I was on a bus on my way to Phoenix, Arizona. This was in 1979.
Oh, and you said you were
Wow.
What city were you in California?
Pardon?
And then you got here to Phoenix and made such an impact on the community. What made you what were the steps that you took when you were here in Phoenix to decide to make an impact in the Phoenix community?
Well, and that was still a long journey, because you got to realize I was just, I was still a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
I was still a teenager. So, now I'm like 17 years old, and I reached Phoenix, and everything got real because I didn't have any friends around. It was just me. I'm meeting new people, but it's like a culture shock, because you think about Phoenix in 79, nobody even locked their doors, but what happened with me right away, my mom was like, hey, if you get in trouble, nobody's coming. You're on your own. You can't get in trouble. You got to go to work. You got to go to school, and I found out that my ass couldn't read, write, do math, nothing. I was on a 4th grade level. And I'm like, oh, snap, everything got real. And so I went to Chicanos por la Casa, started working on my GED and learning electrical. And I got my start over there with Chicanos por la Casa. And I had a white pocket dictionary, a little Webster pocket dictionary, and I kept it in my pocket 24/7. And I mean, on the bus walking, I had my dictionary, and I just like go through the words every day, all day, and that's what I did. It wasn't until much later, I met my children's mom. We got together, and nevertheless, babies started coming, and I wasn't one that's going to run out on my children. I love my children, and that's how that part we was raised. I had a mom and dad, and so that helped me start to mature and really start growing up and taking responsibility for myself and for my actions.
Mm-hmm.
So now my brother, my second oldest brother, was in the Black Panther Party. So we had that militant thinking, all through my family, even my mom, because they were growing up in the 60s and out of Pomona and all of this. So they dealt with a lot of racism. So,
In
the Black
Pomona?
Panthers,
I lived in Pomona. When were they there?
in the 60s.
Oh, I was there in the early 70s.
Yep, in the 60s, I think we left out of there right near after I was born, probably like in 63 or something like that, and moved to LA.
What division of Pomona were you in?
Um, um, I know we were on Gary Street.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's where I was, Gary and Foothills, where they used to
Yeah.
call Ghost Town.
Huh? Thin Town?
Gary and Foothills, where they called Ghost Town, that area?
Ghost Town. Yeah, we're in that area as well. Still have people there in Pomona.
It's not Ghost Town anymore, though.
I don't know what they call it now.
No, because they was called Ghost Town because there was so many Caucasians there.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now it's mostly Hispanics and a few.
Yeah. So yeah.
What were some of the entrepreneurial things that you started to do to get you into, serving the community and hustling, in other words?
For me, I never wanted to work for anybody. I never wanted to work for a company. Even when we were in grade school and junior high school, they say, what you want to be? And I'm like, I already knew that, I wasn't like going to be an educated person. That's what I felt anyway, and I love working with my hands. So, I always was fixing on stuff, building stuff like that. I worked with my hands really well. So I wanted to be a plumber. So, when I got to Phoenix and, I was trying to, I started learning electrical trade, and I wanted to do heavy equipment operating, but you may not know they don't have any courses for heavy equipment operating. That's only passed down through generations through generations of people. So so if your dad's a heavy equipment operator, and then chances are the son, and so on and so on. And so wasn't very many Black heavy equipment operators, so nobody was there to teach me. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do my electrical and do my plumbing. So I stayed self-employed as much as I could, and people would always say, like, man, you really step out on faith. And it was just so natural to me, because it was just natural. I knew I didn't want to work for nobody, and I knew I wanted to, I can work with my hands. So that was the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey.
When did you get to OK's?
I got to OK's. That was 2008. I went after I took so long to trying to get my GED, because you're working and you're going to school, and then you end up moving, and now you got to start over and so forth like that. And I wanted to take air conditioning, but you can't go into air conditioning school until you have your high school diploma or GED, whatnot. So I was finally able to get my GED, went to RSI, stayed there for a year, and got my universal certification. And I was already working in the industry and in the construction. So, that was going really well. In 2008, you remember the economy took out. That was George Bush, the son, crashed the economy. And so the company I was working for, and that was 2008, and I was already making like $28 an hour, killing it, but at that time, I acted frivolously with my money, and we ended up doing a bankruptcy, and I was buying stuff and doing all kind of nuts, crazy stuff. But after that, in 2008, and the economy crashed, so that's when I needed to pivot and figure out something else that I wanted to do. So, I already was living and socializing with my Rastafarian brothers and learning from them, and so I was making my incense with these guys, and the whole thing was do for self. Everything was about doing for self, and that's where my mindset was anyway. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do these incense, and I'm gonna go back to one and open up me a store, which I had one in 80, in 90, in 90, I think 92. I had a store that was right there on Roosevelt Road, on 5th Street and Roosevelt.
Oh, downtown.
Yeah, right downtown, where they charging a fortune now, but right then at that time, I had a place over there. It didn't last but a year, so I didn't have the understanding how to keep a business, but I did open it and got it going, and I was the Tree of Life at that time, and so and it was basically the same thing as Roots Life. It was the exact same thing. I just elevated it to the next level once we got over there to Roots Life. And so I didn't name it Tree of Life, because by that time I was gonna get back going in that business. There were so many other businesses called Tree of Life that as I prayed and deal with the ancestors, was like, no, you got to go deeper, and I didn't understand it right then, and then later on I figured it out. They said go deeper. What's deeper than the roots? Okay, Roots Life. So that's how Roots Life started.
Okay.
Can you give us an idea as to, some of the things you went through with that shift and that move?
Pardon?
Can you give us some of the things that you went through with that transitioning from downtown to Roots Life? What type of traffic?
Are these questions being answered on the live channel? I can't see the questions being asked.
I don't see any questions being asked. But
you've been answering questions. I was like, oh.
I'm just going by, whatever you guys ask me something. So yeah, but you asked me what kind of changes I went through
to establish Roots Life.
Yeah, I asked you that, but I thought you were answering other questions. I guess my other question, because we elevated to the Roots
Miss
Life.
Lizzie was asking a question.
Oh, was she typing them? Because
Okay.
I couldn't hear her.
She was
You
speaking.
can't. Interesting. That's the second time someone wasn't able to hear Miss Lizzie.
I didn't hear.
Yeah, I didn't hear. I heard, huh? I kept hearing you say, huh, and I was like, well, who's he answering? I thought he was reading.
Oh no, I can hear her, but it was kind of a little bit extorted. That's all. I knew she was
okay.
asking me
Yeah, I
something.
didn't hear it.
I'm
sorry. Go ahead, Miss Lizzie. I apologize.
So, what's your question again, Miss Lizzie?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I can.
Okay. And transitioning from downtown to Southside, what are some of the obstacles, or give us an idea as to that transition, what you had to do to build up to, where you are today. So when you first to 16th.
So if you think about it, when I had the place over there in downtown, right across from Straw and Wool, then that was like in 94. So if you go 94 to 2008, and then you got a whole nother decade. So, a whole lot of life was happening and experiencing and working in the construction field and industry. So what happened in 2000, I married my wife, Catherine. And so there was a lady that had a place on Jefferson. I can't call her name right now, but she had designed me this real cool outfit for our wedding. And so she was like, it was like $150 that she wanted. She said, "I'll give it to you if you model it for me in my fashion show." I'm like, "A model?" I guess I'm a Capricorn, so I wanted to hold on to my money. I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I could do that." And so I went on and modeled the outfit for her. Everything worked out real cool. And then my Asia Bashaw, she had her fashion show going on that day too, and she seen me and grabbed me and said, "No, you coming over here and work with me." And she kind of just stole me from the woman, and so my Asia is the one that got me started, that introduced me to the community as an entrepreneur and a community uh, uh, person.
Shay, shout out to my Asia. Good shot, my Asia.
Yeah, that's my big sister, boy. She did not play. So yeah, so I would do some shows with her and some open mic with her, and just hang out all the time, and she knew a lot of people that I knew in LA, and it just kind of grew from there, and I got used to being out in the community more, and just started developing more passion and finding my way to doing the things that I wanted to do in the community. So yeah, so that's where that's how that got started.
What kept you going through all those trying times?
Well, the thing is, life just goes on, and it's always trials and tribulations and ups and downs. But when you stay focused, when you gotta focus, well, I should say, when you know what your journey is supposed to be about, it's just a distraction, because you got to keep your eye on what you really want to accomplish. So adversities is just another way of saying, hey, you got some troubles today. You can't jump off the track and go left. You just got to get back on track and keep you got to persevere.
Right.
Now, so it's always going to be adversity. So you just keep.
You might have cut out. We can't hear you anymore. You may have to sign out and sign back in because you're no longer being heard. But yeah, Israel Shop is such a vibe. You go into Israel Shop, and the atmosphere there that he created for us feels like home.
Yeah.
Right? When you go there, you just want to stay there and sit in the ambiance, and you just want to help support the actual business.
Yeah. And look at all the wonderful things that he had in his store.
I should have had some images of the actual store. That's what I should have had, so we can display the actual the items that he had in there. But it felt like a higher frequency, a higher vibration, and it felt like you were aligning yourself. Like when you step outside of the door, life hits you, and you have to overcome so many different obstacles. But then you go to these establishments that are designed to uplift and heal you.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those establishments.
Right.
As soon as you walk in there, you leave all the stress and things behind, or you ask what ointments, what incense, and you ask about the different items that he has,
Mm-hmm.
and there's always an answer. Let me grab that shea butter. No, I want the shea butter with this incense. And it's just such a great feeling. Every time I invited other family members and friends, they were just, blown out the way and didn't want to leave the shop. We're coming in to stop as an errand. We got other things to do. It's like, you know what? We're at the right place now. Why are we doing something else?
Yeah.
It felt like home. It really felt like home. And, it was it was just blackness.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And uh,
I'm
Hello.
new. Oh, hey. I had to get back on too.
Miss Lizzie
And
was
I
speaking.
liked how he had things there that you didn't see other places, even the herbs and things. He had a more
Looks like they
potent
glitched out.
type of herb than you would find somewhere else.
are you back, Israel?
I know
All right,
people
Israel.
when you closed down, people were in the Roots Life inbox like, where am I supposed to get my incense from now? Where am I supposed to get all my stuff?
And you know something? I'm thinking, like the small shops like
Hold
that.
on, hold on, hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't know what to talk.
I will say
Uh,
I'm a new while he's getting situated. I'm a newbie to the Roots Life
Really?
group, and it's been a blessing getting to know the community, Miss Lizzie and Brother Israel. Just it's just like I feel like I'm a baby growing up in Phoenix. Like I've learned more around in this community, and I've been in Arizona for 19 years,
There's
and I
certain
feel more connected now.
exactly. There's certain places that you have to be aware of that kind of opens the community up at large. In Israel, Roots Life, that was one of those locations.
I
You
didn't know
land
that.
in Roots
Okay.
Life, and then you can find all the other community outlets and
Are you
stores.
back, Brother Israel?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me
Okay.
okay?
Yes,
Yep.
Okay.
His store was a staple in that community for years.
yes, 17 years. That's a lifetime achievement right there. So,
Hmm.
Israel, how do you
Yeah.
define success?
So what? So why don't you tell everybody what you're doing now? Like what are the how are you still showing up for the community?
So to answer brother's question first, um, I define success. It may sound a little strange, but I define success by being content and um, just having a peace of mind,
Mm,
That's good.
and being able to go to bed with a clear conscience.
Being able to sleep, period, huh?
Sleep and know that I did the best I could that day, and I didn't uh, do anybody wrong, and that I mm, lived as up for and right as I could that day. Because I just take it still day by day. But I define success by being content and happy in my own skin.
Yeah, it seems like Tommy was like that too.
Pardon?
It seems like Tommy was like that too.
Tommy?
Oh, Tommy over at OK's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy was, and he gave me a start when probably nobody else would have. We didn't have no money going in, and I was like, "Hey, Tommy, I want to get in this building," and it came available 3 times. The first 2 times I missed it because I didn't have the money to put up the first and last rent and turn the power on. But I knew I wanted to get in there. And then by the time the third time came around, there was some Jamaican ladies in there, and they knew I wanted to move in there. And so before they told Tommy that they were gonna move out, they came by the store over there by Safeway where I was doing my sales, and was like, "Hey man, we're getting ready to leave here in a couple of months. Get ready." And I'm like, "Yo, okay, I'll be ready." And so by the time they let Tommy know that they were on their way out of there, and I talked to Tommy, and he's like, "Yeah, you sure you want to do this?" I'm like, "I'm sure." And so yeah, so I had my card table and 3 boxes of incense, and paid the rent up, Went in there, and my family and friends looked at me like, yeah, he done lost his mind for real. He's gonna open a store. He don't even have any products. What is he doing? But I
That's
had a
exactly
plan.
what I'm
You
talking
didn't
about.
lose it. You found it. You actually found it.
I can't hear you.
I said you didn't lose your mind. You actually
I,
found it.
well, I had a discussion with my mom years ago when I started growing dreadlocks, and that was another time they thought I lost my mind. And because back then in the '90s, people growing locks wasn't it was very rare.
Hmm.
And she would be like, "You can't change the world. You can't change the world." And I said, Mom, I'm not trying to change the world. I'm trying to keep the world from changing me.
Right. It.
Okay.
You know.
I
So
think we need to hear more stories as what you're talking about, because that
I like that
enlightened.
quote.
Somebody.
well, I Tommy opened the doors for me. We went in there, and my thoughts was, like I say, I come from a militant background, and you got a lot of people calling themselves Black Panthers and stuff today, but all I see them doing is toting guns around. I'm
Mhm.
like, the Black Panther wasn't started by just being able to carry a gun. They were feeding the children and clothing the children and taking care of the community, and that's where my thinking was like. And so it was like, okay, so the first thing we did was start doing clothing drives, and then we're doing school supply drives, and we'll just have people come down and drop off all the school supplies they could, if it was just a few packs of pencils or whatever, and we'll take them to Martin Luther King or Julian, one of those schools, and just bless up one of the classrooms, or until we ran out of stuff. and
Okay.
uh and the same with the clothing. People would bring so much clothes in there, and I would always like, hey, don't bring us nothing tethered. If you wouldn't wear it again, don't bring it. And if
Right.
it's not washed and clean and folded, don't bring it.
Hmm.
So people took heed to what we were doing, and we would see so much clothes that stack up the wall, come back down, stack up again, and people would come in and bring their family and just get the clothes, take the clothes for free, whatever they needed. Sometimes we had people that would donate suits and and nice clothing, and then we'll save those for the people, for the guys and young ladies that was out looking for a job and needed something nice to wear. But we would always hear people like, hey, you don't know, we just lost our clothes in the storage, our clothes got burned up and this and that. So it was just so cool, because we didn't have any products anyway, so we just was doing what came natural. And then we connected up with a couple of the churches in the community. I had a big old white van, and they would donate us, like load up the van with produce and meat and bread and everything, and twice a week, and then we'd take it back over to the store, set up a table, and give out food boxes all day or till they were gone.
Hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to
So
say
we
that contributed to your, to what you're doing now with all the events and things that you have, for the community.
and we started doing the fam blam, right away, because my sister Addie and my wife, we just always like to party anyway. So we always was over at Addie's house, or they were at our house, or we was at the park just kicking it with our friends and family. And so once we got the store going, and then we're like, hey, we should do a customer appreciation day. And so we started putting the fam blam together. They said, well, what you gonna call it? The fam blam. So that's how the fam blam was, started. Yeah, it was exciting to get everybody to come down to the park, and pretty much what we would do is just a potluck. Like, we'll just call all our friends and everybody be on the phone calling their friends saying, hey, bring chips and dip, just like you do at a for your family reunion. You bring this and you bring that. The next thing you know, we got enough food for everybody. By the second year, we had like 2 grills going, and we had the vegetarian grill, had the meat grill, and nobody had to pay for any food. We just took in donations and prepped the food at home and brought it to the park and cooked it up and served everybody.
All right.
So, talk a little bit about the Fam Blam.
Pardon?
The Fam Blam. You want to talk a little bit about that?
What else? What goes on at the Fam Blam at this point?
Like I say, the Fam Blam is a customer appreciation day, and pretty much we just want to get together, bring everybody together for just the sake of meeting new people in your community, networking, because we always want to network because something is going on, just like MelaNation. People need to know about it, and whatever somebody had a business or, whatever they were doing, bring your business cards and get a chance to get on the microphone and tell a little bit about, what you're doing, what your plans are, and how people can get a hold of you and so forth like that. So, and then the other part of the Fam Blam was allowing space for people just to come together and enjoy one another's company, break bread, give the children a safe place to play and enjoy themselves, and along with the adults. And then we had like different artists that, whether they were a saxophonist or whatever their talent was, we'll give them the platform. If you, whatever you do, let's see what you got. If you play the flute, let's see, let's have it. We had martial art instructors come out and show, do demonstrations, and so the Fam Blam is always been a conduit for the community to show their talents and launch their new businesses as entrepreneurs.
Ashe. Yeah. Every time I've gone to the Fam Blam and I saw all the black-owned businesses, pop-up tents, and then the huge stage that you lay out, and all the performers that come out, and it's a beautiful vibe to be around like-minded individuals and showcase your actual skill sets. And I'm glad that MelaNation is going to be part of the Fam Blam this month, and we're really excited. And I know it's just around the corner.
Yeah. So we're just 2 Saturdays away.
Okay. Now it sounds like you guys are saying Fam Blam, but isn't it
Blam? Yeah, with the L.
It's with the L. I didn't.
Yeah.
Sounds like what you're saying. Okay.
Right. I know. My daughter and different ones was like, oh, you need to call it the Fam Bam. And I said, no, it's Blam in your face. So that's just me being me.
So what's happening at the Fam Blam?
So right now we're tightening up the time slots for the entertainment. We have this young lady. Her name is Aubrey Scott. I don't know if you guys got to make it to last year, Fam Blam, and the young lady, she's like 13, and she's already a powerhouse. Her stage presence is just so on point, and she sings, and she's gonna be huge one day. I already know, 'cause she just a natural. Just like if it was Whitney Houston, something as a child, she got that kind of persona about herself. And then we have D Dread. He just loves doing the fan blam. That's just his thing. So we always happy to have D Dread and the Zion Knights come out and perform. Um, this year we'll have I Ingi. He's also a reggae artist. Um, we have a group called TSPS, the South Phoenix Sounds. And this is one of the groups that started out with us all the way back in 2010. And they got a hold of me and was like, hey, man, we want to come on. We want to come on. So I'm like, hey, we got to bring you back. So we're looking forward to having them
I'm looking forward to seeing
perform
them.
as well. Pardon?
I'm looking forward to seeing them the whole show.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. We'll be using that patio right there in front of the rec center. I didn't order the stage. The patio's been doing and serving a purpose, and I kind of wish I would have, but it's done now. It
On,
serves its purpose, and I think it's gonna work out good.
on the
And
southern side,
pardon?
on the southern side of the park.
Yes,
Right. Yes. If you know where the rec center is, right? In that big patio that's right there,
facing southern.
In
facing
the
Southern. Yes.
rec center, like in the middle of the park.
Yeah. You know where the swimming pool is?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So the rec center is right there north of the swimming pool. So like
Yeah.
in between. Yeah. Uh, so once you pass Southern, come off of Southern, you see the swimming pool, and then you see the rec center.
Yeah. We
Hmm.
always get that right by Southern at and Easter celebration. We go right there. That's
Right. They just had a big celebration over there, just or get together just earlier. It must have been like at the end of last month. It was
mhm.
just a few weeks ago.
So it looks like we're 17 years. It's 17 annual Fam Blam, April 18th, 2026, at Hermosa Park, starting at 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Address 2030 East Southern Avenue, Phoenix, Arizona 85041. And this is an event that you really don't want to miss. It's a outdoor event that you really don't want to miss.
And what about the food vendors? Are there going to be some food? Is it going to be food over there? Some good food?
Yeah, we got some good food vendors coming up. We have Big J's Fish and Chips. He has a food truck of fish and chips, and I think he does burgers as well. And the prices are really reasonable. Anytime we do our fam blams, and I talk to the food vendors, I'm like, hey, bring cook something that you don't have to knock everybody over the head with. Just bring something that's easy to that won't break everybody's pocketbook, right?
Yeah.
And then it's another brother, Chris. He does some delicious brisket sandwiches, and it's crazy. He does these brisket sandwiches and put coleslaw on them. It's like crazy good.
Oh, wow. That sounds
So
Yeah.
delicious.
let me ask,
Um,
what advice do you have for aspiring business owners?
mm, I say plan your strategy, plan your work, and work your plan.
Mm,
And just really put in ink and paper to yourself and I would like to see inspiring business. Say if you want to do just say for instance a nail shop, just
mhm.
for the sake of argument, you know, start hanging out and visiting people that has a nail shop and get up under them and find out the ins and outs of it. And is it something that you really want to do?
Mhm.
Get around people that's doing something that you would like to do
Community.
and ask all the questions that you can. And
Mhm.
also make sure that you have a clear understanding on the logistics of having a business, as far as tax laws and all the different uh, um, loopholes, um, all the different red tape that that you're going to have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing as well. Know how to market your business.
That's exactly what the tire surgeon did. He used to be on Broadway. He worked at Charlie Casey's, learning the business, and then he turned around and opened his own tire shop.
Right, right. Get around somebody that's doing exactly what you want to do and model yourself after them, and and there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody got to kind of model itself after somebody.
That's true. So, do you have your a business model? What model do you live by?
The model that I live by, is do all the good you can, and good will follow you. That's my model.
That's a good model. I like that one.
Nice and simple.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
nice and simple. Just do all the good you can. Just like you got bad karma. And I think the brother was telling me it's another name for like good karma. He said dharma, something. Do you guys know what that is?
Oh yeah. What is that word?
It's
Dharma. Yeah, Dharma.
drama. It's almost like drama, but it's
Is it Dharma?
dharma.
Dharma?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and yeah. So even like coming through the Rastafarian teachings and stuff, you got good karma, and so it's balance is you to have balance has got to be a good karma, right? And so that's why my model comes from that. If you can develop bad karma by being doing wicked things or not so good things, you should be able to on the flip side develop some good karma,
Right.
by doing good. So do all the good you can, and good will follow you.
Ashay.
Yeah.
So, what would you do differently? Is there anything that you would have done differently?
What is business wise?
You know what? According to business, but here's the thing. So, what I appreciate about your business is it bleeds into life, everyday life. Your business was based on uplifting people's journeys. So I really can't separate the business of Israel Roots from the person.
Right. So I
See, it's what
I don't think I would have done anything differently as far as because I just had to play the cards that I was dealt.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't like say I would do this different or do that different. I mean, in a perfect world, and you had tons of money, you can figure, doing what things, financially, you can do it differently. But this is for me has been a spiritual journey, more than just a physical journey. So I just stayed the course. So
Right.
no, I wouldn't do anything different.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say what could have happened if you did something differently. And the success that you've had, you've gone 17 years. That's something that we would not want to erase if you did something differently. So I could definitely appreciate that. Um, this is the last question that I actually have for you. I don't know if the panelist has any other questions for you, but what would you say is the best decision that you've made?
That's a good question.
I tell you, that is a good question, and mm, I'm kind of reluctant to say, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. My best decision that I made was to close the store when I did.
Uh-oh.
Honest,
Okay.
honest, honest.
I
Right.
thought that you would
You
say.
know, when the ancestors move you, you have to pay attention. You have to really, you really got to hear, you got to hear the voice of, there's a scripture that said, my children know me by my voice. And when when I made that decision, a load lifted off.
Right.
I bet it
You know,
did.
a load lifted off, and it was, because before it was like I put my nose to the grindstone, and I kept going and going, and I looked up, it was 17 years later.
Right.
you know and I had to ask myself, okay, and I'm looking at my wife and things that we enjoy doing, and like, you know what, we haven't been doing much fishing, we haven't been doing much traveling, and every day, we just working that store, and it's cool, we love it, we love our customers, and all of that, but at the same time we have to love ourselves as well, so we can be around.
Let me know when you go fishing again.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna get you out there for sure. Yeah, but yeah, I think that was the best decision that I think that I ever made. If, that's kind of way out there, but yeah. Closing up and moving on. It was something that needed to be done, and it needed to be done at that time.
I say. I
Uh,
definitely.
It's all about
That,
time.
that sounds like wisdom. That's what it sounds like. I haven't gotten to a point where I've had anything for 17 years, but knowing when it's time to move forward and close those chapters, that sounds like discernment and wisdom. But we definitely appreciate the years that you put in the community, and I understand that you're continuing to serve the community in other ways, right? You're
I'm
still.
absolutely.
sorry, I missed something. You guys kind of low right now, but I'm trying to hear you.
I was saying that discernment,
Yes,
right? That sounds like wisdom and discernment.
yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. But that was the last question I have for you. Does anyone else have any questions before we end our session?
I think we've heard a lot, and I appreciate you sharing with us, um, and wishing you really the best going forward. Because we're here. You're a part of MelaNation as well.
Right.
So
MelaNation is right on time. I needed that. It's like a nice boost. And it's also, when I see MelaNation, this was right during that whole time when I was closing the store. So I'm like, man, this is, I jumped on it right away because just
oh,
that
oh,
discernment, right? Like,
yes, I
yeah,
appreciate it. You introduced me to it.
Oh,
yes. I'll give thanks. Yeah, even though I couldn't like get active, but I still seen it. I'm like, let me just link up with brother, and as soon as I can get the storage closed down and get situated, and then I can get more involved. Right
Ashe.
Well,
now, I'm working on a radio station over at KRDP. I have a radio hour over there, so I've been training with Calvin Worthy.
All right.
So we're going to have the Roots Life Unity in the Community Radio Hour.
All right.
So,
absolutely.
so I
Wow.
think that's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It'll be like what you and I were doing, Miss Lizzie, over at the store, and just kind of take it
I'm, I'm
to the
still
radio
here.
station.
I'm still
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, all right then. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe. I just want to remind everyone that we are here. Let me make sure we. I want to say thanks for watching, and we're here every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Meantime, in between time, reach out to us on Facebook at MelaNation app. Definitely come out to the Fan Blam this April 18th, 2026
Come out to
at
that.
Hermosa Park. All right, everyone. This has been a great session, and I appreciate you, Israel, for coming out and laying down those jewels. Ashe, Ashe.
Ashe, thank you so much, brother.
Peace
And
and
I'm just
blessings.
so looking forward to seeing how MelaNation develops over the years.
Not
All
just
right.
MelaNation, but you too, all of us together.
It's a
We,
man.
Absolutely.
And
yes,
we.
we.
I and
And
All
I.
righty there, family. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Peace, peace.
We look forward to seeing everybody at the family. I'm gonna invite some friends and bring your favorite park chair or blanket. Let's have a good time.
Let's do
We
it.
will.